Kalkadosh, Boker Or, Mishna Yomi, good morning. Mishna Yomi Masechet Eduyot, chapter 4, Perek Daled, Mishna Yod and Yod Aleph, 10 and 11. Mishna Yod, Hamadid et ishto mitashvish hamita. If somebody comes and he makes a vow that he's not going to give his wife relations, marital relations, Bet Shammai Omrim, Bet Shammai says, Shte Shabbatot, the limit is 2 weeks. Bet Hillel says 1 week. What does that mean? If it's less than the stated limit, 2 weeks according to Bet Shammai or 1 week according to Bet Hillel, the wife cannot demand a divorce. But if it's going to be longer than that, she could demand a divorce and she collects her ketubah.
What about the other one?
One second. Yeah, fine. Hamapelet leor shmonim ve'echad. Yeah, if she miscarries during the night of the 81st day, Bet Shammai says she's patur from a korban. Bet Hillel says she's going to be obligated to bring, right, a set of offerings, a second set of offerings, because in fact the miscarriage took place after the tahor period ended. So therefore, if right now she became pregnant again, and now, right, because remember in the case that we said that when a person gives birth, he gets 7 days of impurity for a boy, 14 for a girl, and then he has pure days. So 33 for a boy and 40 and 66 for a girl. So the total is 40 and 80. 40 for a boy and 80 for a girl. The fact that it was on the 81st day, so therefore since it's already now after the time period of purity, so therefore that's why you would have to come and bring a korban according to Bet Hillel. The third machloket between them is going to be to do with sadin betzitzit, a linen cloak. Does it need tzitzit or not? So Bet Shammai says it's patur. He says, why? So therefore, you're not allowed to attach techelet to it, because if it's going to be patur. According to Bet Shammai, the rabbis decreed that tzitzit may not be attached to the linen garment because they were concerned that someone might wear the garment at nighttime, and therefore, if it doesn't apply, so now you're not you're doing shatnez, so you can't wear shatnez. Bet Hillel says you're going to be obligated, right, in tzitzit because it's mina Torah, because they maintain the rabbis made no such a decree. So that was the third argument, right, between them. Okay, because remember, shatnez is only permitted, right, if you're doing a mitzvah. If there's no mitzvah, so you're not allowed to wear shatnez. So therefore, if it's going to be you're wearing it at not the proper time that you need tzitzit, so therefore you have a problem of wearing tzitzit, which is the wool and linen, wearing shatnez without a mitzvah. Okay, the last one, kalkelet Shabbat. If you have a basket of fruit that one designated to be eaten on Shabbat, Bet Shammai comes and he says that you're not obligated to give the trumot to masot until Shabbat begins. So therefore, you could eat it as a snack before Shabbat without separating all the trumot to masrot. Bet Hillel come and they say, what are you talking about? He says, as soon as it's designated, you're going to be chayav. So for even before Shabbat, you cannot eat it unless you first take off the trumot to masrot, right? And then you're going to come and you're going to eat, right, from these fruits, right? So again, this is again in masrot. Obviously, a produce of Eretz Yisrael is required to take off trumot to masrot. He says produce that does not attain the status of tevel until he becomes obligated to give the trumot to masrot. Before then, you can. So now, if you only designated it for Shabbat, so the question is, are you already obligated now or not in the separating of the truma or not? That was Mishnah Yod. Okay. Now we're going to Mishnah Yod Aleph, the next machloket. Okay. Mishnah 11. So it says like this: Mi shenadar nezirut merubeh. Someone accepted upon himself a long term of nezirut. So usually, how long is nezirut? 30 days. So let's say it was much more than 30 days. After he completed his term, and then he comes to Eretz Yisrael. Yeah, does he have to do it again or not? So Bet Shammai Omrim Nazir Shoshim Yom. He has to become a Nazir for 30 days because Tum'ah in the land of the nations is only a rabbinic Tum'ah, and therefore he already fulfilled the obligation, the biblical obligation that he did the Nazirut outside of Israel. But the rabbi still penalized him because now he has to become a Nazir again in the land of Israel. Bet Hillel Omrim Nazir Keotechila. No, he has to do the beginning of the term, which means he has to do everything again in Israel, right? But according to Bet Hillel, the rabbi penalized him by treating him as if that he did not do anything. But since he only did it outside of Israel, so he didn't do anything. He has to do the beginning from the beginning. He has to start again in the land of Israel. Another halacha: Nisha yu shtekite edim meidototo, right? Elu meidim shenadar shtayim v'elu meidim shenadar chamesh. 2 sets of witnesses testify about him. The first set of the 2 witnesses testify that he accepted upon himself 2 terms of Nizirut, which is 60 days. The next one, they said, no, it's 5 terms of Nizirut. So it's 150 days, right? So what's going to happen? Bet Shammai says, Nechleka Edut. The testimony is divided because basically they're both tossed out. Because since the two witnesses, the 2 sets of witnesses contradict each other, so we don't know who's telling the truth. So basically, en kaneziru, there's nothing. Throw everything out in the garbage. It's basically conflicting evidence, and therefore toss the entire thing out. He says, 1 second. Of the 5, 2 is also included, meaning everybody agrees that it was minimum 2. So if everybody agrees that minimum 2, he has to become a Nazir minimum 2. The rest is nothing, but at least a minimum of 2 he does have to do.